Riding one-handed with a broken arm, Ted Edgar did well on Jacapo.
Again, tales of Ted all day, I still wouldn't even scratch the surface. I hope today we'll see a little smile on your faces as well as you remember your own stories of Ted. And there will be hundreds, but that's the mark of the man. When Liz kindly asked me to step up here today, I thought, do you want me to tell stories of Ted in a church? If anyone hears thunder, let me know before the lightning strikes. The raging bull himself, outspoken and a trailblazer in his own way. Who else would ride around the Hickstead Derby with one arm in a sling simply to prove a point, or broker one of the sport's first major sponsorship deals? A demon to follow in the hunting field, but not much different out of it. With Ted, they didn't break the mould, they smashed it. He wouldn't have it any other way. Born in 1933, Ted's family moved to Leekwater in the 40s, starting his riding career, taught by his mother Ethel. Father was less enamoured with the idea. From winning on show ponies, puzzle and debutante, yes, for those that make the connection, before moving on to jumping through juniors and then seniors. Some will be aware too of his career as a jockey, starting from the age of 14 in point of hoist, as ever, not just dabbling, he rode over 70 winners. That was before he even went on to jumping success. In 49, he took over the ride of Jane Summers from his sister. From there it took off. He went on to win the Horse and Hound Cup twice. First in 57, then the following year they won the leading show jumper of the year at the Horse of the Year show, which he'd go on to win again in 69 on Uncle Max, a damn rodeo horse if you please, that jumped from the top of the Derby back. The horse that would probably give him his proudest success, winning the King George V Gold Cup. In true Ted style, it was on the football pitch at Wembley. And who should present the trophy but Her Majesty herself? Who else? Ted was a man of many parts. His confidence was one of his biggest assets. Not just in himself, but how he'd inspire it in others. He made you believe you could win anything. But then in 64 he married Liz, and she at the tender age of 21, when the great partnerships came together. Two different people you can't imagine, but opposites attract, and this was one of the best. Liz, one of the most stylish riders the sport will ever see, and to all of us, a lady on a level par with the Queen herself. Ted used to drive down to Wales from Warwickshire. He was keen. He had a two-door Jag to take Liz out. She went too, despite her parents' words, when the car could be seen in the distance. Their response simply, he's here. Starting out at Elms Farm, they moved to Rio Grande, which Ted, of course, was the architect of every single brick. He knocked down the old Elms farmhouse, despite it being a listed building, because he wanted more room for parking. Best to ask for forgiveness afterwards. When it came to moving, no Pickfords for Ted. A teenage Skelly, as lifter and shifter, lorries, tractors, wheelbarrows, everything that would move was used to shift everything down the road, and they've been there ever since. Ted's great love was the hunting field with Warwickshire. Following Ted was described as like riding the wall of death. Keep up if you dare. With the likes of Grandpa, he was fearless. With Skelly in tow, he would tour the country in the off-jumping season, as far up as the Buccleuch and back down east with 4 or 5 horses selling a few on the way. The meets at home, though, had one initial purpose: getting everyone as pissed as possible before they start. Make the punch as strong as you can, and instead of the usual 30 minutes before moving off, it would be an hour and a half before they got going. The first fence out the gate of Rio Grande was a trot across the road, and off they went. Ted took great delight in how many empty saddles there were after the first fence. At the end of one day's hunting from the house, of course, they joined for drinks afterwards. On one occasion, with encouragement from the boss. While the others were inside, Jeff Luckett and Skelly went out to the wagons and switched the horses around. Out rolled John Funnell and Brian Charlie. He drove off home. The next day, Brian comes roaring back into the yard looking for his missing horse, spitting sparks. Funnell, in the meantime, has taken Brian's horse out hunting back at home, because frankly it was better than the horse he had. Robert Bell was often Todd's partner in crime out with the Warwickshire and a few other hunts as well. On arriving for a day with the Pikeshie, they parked to the boxes and hacked a few miles to the meet. On getting close, they see the rest of the field and go to join them. In between them stands a very neat field and a couple of well-kept hedges. Perfect. Over the field they go, hop the hedges, and arrive to greet the Lady Master, Anne Hawkins. "Good morning, Lady Master." "Good night to you," came the terse reply, both a little perplexed. "You've just ridden over my husband's cricket pitch." A tip of the hat, a swift exit back over the prize cricket pitch, reboxed, and off for a day with the Grafton. On one occasion, Rob and Ted were out the north of the country, decided to head out on their own. But one guy keeps following them. So after a few more fences, Ted's starting to get a little bit nervous like this. So he stops the neatly trimmed hedge and calls across. "Here, why don't you give us a lead?" So chap duly obliges. Over he goes and completely disappears from view. Ted immediately turns in the opposite direction. "Come on." Rob looks again, perplexed. "What's down there, Ted?" "The reservoir," and rides off. The greatest achievement of Ted and Liz has to be the list of great riders that have been based with them, and of course the heyday of the Everest team sponsorship. He was ahead of his time, negotiating with the help of Bob Dean and others a sponsorship that grew with the company and lasted 21 years, starting back in 1970. The stable of riders that would be part of this operation over the period and beyond was second to none. Olympic champion Nick Skelton, of course, who came to Oak as a teenager and stayed the longest, some 12 years. Viet Manley, World Cup champion, Jeff Luckett, Michael Mack, Leslie McNaught, Emma Jane Brown, Janet Hunter, and of course the unrivaled European champion, Torta Marie. And in later years, Olympic gold medalist too, Ben Mayer. And of course at the centre, Arthur Grand Prix winner, Liz. In total, riders from the Edgar Yard have accounted, so far, for 33 championship medals. Quite the legacy. Nick will tell you how much he is now is down to Ted. The professionalism of the yard, the way it ran, was like clockwork. Starting at 7, the day was regimented. Clean and tidy was the order of the day. The horse boxes had to be washed down from a return from a show. Everything was about hard work and discipline. You always had to prove yourself, as Liz puts it. You never let your saddle get cold. Above all else, though, it was always a team effort. Ben Mayer describes him as a great horseman, how his and Liz's programme helped shape his career. But Ted was always a joker but had an eye for detail, making a difference between winning and losing, which he carries on today. It was all about preparation. Nick describes a crack of dawn start, the Great Yorkshire one morning, up at 4:30, jumped the course that's been built, done an act before you could be discovered. Heading back to the stables, on the horizon comes a security guard. Bug, rumbled. The guard comes over. "Up early, Mr. Edgar. That's what I like to see. You're a hard worker, lad. Well done. Good luck. Have a good day. Keep going." Ted knew at the shows, and even more importantly, he knew every international organiser. And that would help he and Liz into any show they pretty well wanted. He was an amazing man to have on the floor. As Liz recalls, if you wanted to do something that was maybe on the edge of the rules, Ted would go and chat to the steward in charge and keep them nicely distracted until things were sorted. When Liz rode forever to become the first lady to win the Aachen Grand Prix, she was heading to the ring when Ted called her back and instructed her to jump another fence. The horse had already jumped several rounds. Ted's reasoning, "You'll think he's going in for a rosette after this many rounds. Give him another pop." She did. She won. He was always thinking ahead. Ted's sixth sense, however, was his talent for knowing what was wrong with the horse and putting it right. A case with David recalls the Horse of the Year show. He was having a pole down every class for 4 days. "Right, you in the collection ring at 8 o'clock, says Ted. He placed the pole on the floor, put David through a series of exercises, and for the next 3 months, the horse was unbeatable. However, there was always only ever one way with Ted. His way or the highway. He liked winning, and he didn't like not. Ted would have his moments for liking the odd tipple as well, maybe driving home, and maybe being sometimes a little heavy with the accelerator, on the speed side, to put it mildly. Amongst the list of encounters with the local constabulary, back in '83, he'd been summoned to court in Leamington. So, in Ted's style, Of course, he went to court in the horse box, with a view that he'd drive the box there if they'd banned him, drive the horse home. He did actually get away with it on this occasion. A little more forward plan. When Skelton was 17, he was in the lorry emblazoned with Ted Edgar on the side. When they stopped for speeding on this occasion, "I'm going to teach you a lesson in how to get out of a speeding ticket," explained Ted. The police told him that he'd been doing 40 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone and asked if he knew he was speeding. Ted was extremely polite. "No, officer, I didn't. I didn't think I was going fast. I'm truly, truly sorry." The conversation continued, with Ted still in grovelling, apologetic mode. It seemed to be working until the copper said, "You were speeding in a built-up area in a lorry. I'm going to have to book you. What's your name?" With the lesson to Nick now shot, fine and points looming, Ted was somewhat less apologetic now. Leaning out the window, he pointed to the side of the lorry and replied, "Can't you effing reach?" From one conveyance to another, Ted, Colonel of the Camel Corps at Olympia. When Olympia first started in its current guise back in the 70s, everyone thought Ray Brooks Ward was nuts to try and put it on. Ted and Tom Hudson thought otherwise. Back in the first year, with only £300 of ticket sales in the bank, Raymond dressed Ted as a circus master with elephants, camels and a Liberty horse, and headed up Kensington High Street, giving away tickets for this new show. Ted was duly arrested for herding unlicensed animals on a public highway. The story made the Daily Mail, the Sun, the Mirror, to name but a few. Cue the publicity, coming with it the ticket sales, and the rest of Olympia is history. In 77, at the last night of Olympia, the finale was coming home for Christmas. The Brooks Ward sons were dressed as boys coming home from Eton on top of the mail coach. The coach, however, tipped over in the ring on the corner, sending the boys crashing to the ground. Simon walked away without injury, just like Simon. Nick had a broken arm, James a broken femur. Having been deposited in the ambulance, laid out, Ted came over and put a large cigar in their teenage mouths, lit it and said, "Smoke these on the way, boys, you'll be fine." Ted coached none other than Prince Charles to ride at Olympia as part of the charity evening. He also hunted with him a few times as well. He even phoned the house one day with, possibly Marie, picking up the phone, not believing that the future monarch was on the end of the line. "There's someone on the phone who reckons he's Prince Charles," was the cry across the house. The Prince not only presented him with a signed set of photos of the Olympia event, but even sent him a Christmas card that was one of HRH's own hand-painted watercolours. Ted's influence and character can be summed up from the poem we'll hear shortly, and from the words of Kipling too. "If you walk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, not lose the common touch." Ted knew everyone, and everyone knew Ted. He was a hell of a character. Not easy at times, but no one ever had success without breaking a few eggs. You'll be missed sitting at the side of the ring, passing on advice, sitting in the red pickup, with every show, rightly having a reserved spot for him. In that bloody fur coat, which I didn't know until now, there's actually two of them. God forbid, another Nick and Ted Wees, but they still exist. Liz and Marie carry on as they have done in the later years, and we prefer to remember him as the Hellraiser, the brilliant tactician, the mischievous bugger, a man always ahead of his time, leaving a legacy in the sport and beyond like no other, an influence like no other, and one that will certainly never be matched. A true legend, Ted Edgar.